welcome to part 2. Awesome little booklet there. I would definitely be hanging on to this, unlike my Toho Masterworks thing, which I lost the booklet. But this has more stuff in it. So awesome. Now, since I've talked about the aesthetics, the box, the disc, all that stuff, what's actually in here, now let's talk about what's on this thing. Now, this has so many features. I was just blown away when I first heard the list and when I first watched them all. These are some beautiful, awesome features. They really get into why this is one of the greatest movies ever made and how hard it was to make this one of the greatest movies ever made. They really, really get into why and how this movie is awesome, what happened, why it turned out the way it happened, and just how good it is. It's people celebrating the original Gojira by people who love the original Gojira. Now, easily my favorite part of this whole package here is, well, one, the restored quality. But I'll get into that in a second, because first I want to talk about the awesome audio commentaries by David Cowett. David Cowett is one of the best Godzilla fans around. The guy knows his stuff. He wrote a book that I haven't read yet, but I am planning to, called A Critical History and Filmography of Toho's Godzilla Series. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to. He talks a lot about the allegories. He talks a lot about the productions. He talks a lot about the artistic aspects, his own opinions of the film. He knows his stuff. He even gives an explanation for why this is justified being called Godzilla and not being called, whoa, Gojira. He talks about how the Japanese have different translatory things into Western Roman characters. He talks about Oshiro Honda. He talks about Eiji Tsuburaya. He talks about every aspect of both versions of the film, Gojira and Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's so in-depth. It's so fun to listen to. I watched them twice in a row, I gotta say. They're so good. He also treats even Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is a vastly inferior film, with great respect. And that's saying a lot for a huge Godzilla fan like him. So David Cowett is awesome, and he's partially the main reason why this is worth getting it. If you're a Godzilla fan, this is a must-have, but I'll save that for the recommendation. The documentaries I already talked about, they're all awesome, they're all in-depth, and they all create a beautiful package that all support why this is a great movie and what happened to make this a great movie. We had the Lucky Dragon tragedy. We had, the production team itself. Akira Ifukube has a very in-depth interview on here with him that's very interesting to watch. There's a very in-depth interview with Akira Takarada, that's Ogata. Also, he talks about his whole career in Godzilla. If you're a younger Godzilla fan, and most of the younger Godzilla fans I've talked to have definitely seen Final Wars, he was the Secretary General in that film. So if you don't know him from anything else, he's the Secretary General. He was Ogata in the original. So what else should I discuss here? Oh, of course, the restoration. Wow. David Cowett was right. This must have been how it was like to sit in a theater and see this in theaters on the big screen when it was fresh, new. He talks about how the film they used was soft and vulnerable to outside pathogens and things like that. So the film got kind of ruined as people handled it over time. And he talks about how Criterion tried their very best to clean it up for this presentation. And he says that this is the best they could possibly do. The film looks beautiful. They remove a lot of the grain, and I know some Godzilla fans are going to be a little itsy about that, but believe me, it's worth it. This is a beautiful presentation. And it makes Godzilla look more like an epic than he ever got the chance to be with all the little scratches on the film. It's beautiful, it's epic, and I was sucked into the screen like every time I watched this movie. My jaw dropped at the quality of Gojira in this. So, there's not really a whole lot else I have to say. If you're a Godzilla fan, this is a must-have. There's so much information here about the beginning of the franchise, the beginning of the character, why the character is awesome, a lot about how the allegories are so brilliant, and there's a lot just about this movie. My brain felt enriched after watching this. So, Godzilla fans, you need to go buy this. It's $40. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's worth it. I have no regret spending $40 on this movie. It was a total deal for me personally. Again, it's expensive, and if you're not really a diehard Godzilla fan, and Adam has talked about this too, so if you want his opinion on this, you can go to his channel as well. I'll actually put a link in the description to his review of this, since he talks about comparing these two. I have to agree with one of his assertions that if you're not a big Godzilla fan, get this first, and if you find that you're really still hooked, then you go for this. I agree with him on that point. Personally, if you're a big enough Godzilla fan and you don't have either copies of this, I would say go for this right away. If your old disc is scratched, I'd say go for this right away. Or if you're just in for an awesome commentary, if you want some great features, and if you just want your brain to be blown away by how awesome a movie can be, I recommend you pick this up. This is an easy 5 out of 5, regardless of all my complaints. Criterion Collection Godzilla is my favorite Blu-ray of all time. I'm not just saying that, that's true. It's amazing. Go buy it! So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Zazubaar out.